Knowing the level of THC does matter to me because I think, knowing how much is in the marijuana, I think it's important for people. And then users specifically, they will be able to choose what is safer or not. When you don't know the THC levels, a lot of people are consuming marijuana that does have negative side effects on them, and they have an extreme high, or sometimes I've even heard stories where users are utilizing or consuming marijuana sometimes that's laced with additional products, and then on the side with the high levels of THC, they also go through like health problems. Like I've even heard people have seizures or just crazy side effects. So I definitely think knowing the level in the marijuana is important to prevent things like that from happening, and to just be safer for a lot of the consumers that use it on a day-to-day basis.
So as a medical professional standpoint, it matters on two different aspects. So it matters to me that my patients are getting it from a dispensary that can actually normalize or have a level that we know is not laced with different medication like fentanyl, or that they are on a dose that really is necessary for them to function, to help with their pain, to help with their anxiety, or other reasons, insomnia, things like that. It helps us knowing with my colleagues who are physicians and nurses and PAs and NPs that if they're actually using it, which we know it helps, that they are not using a dose that is too high for them to even function, or again, laced with something that won't prevent them from being able to function to their ability. So I've had several patients that have come in that just thought they were, going to be smoking marijuana when it is laced with fentanyl. We end up having to use Narcan to bring them back. They end up not doing well afterward. And if we can regulate it and know that it is coming from a source that is not concerning, that people aren't trying to just make an extra buck and put less of it in there, less THC in there, then it would be easier from my standpoint as a medical professional to diagnose what's actually going on.
To me, it doesn't really matter that much. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me if I'm buying like from a dispensary or from like a dealer, because I like to support, people who need the money rather than a corporation.
Personally, I like THC, and so I would like to know how much I'm getting. So if you buy from a dealer, you might not know exactly how much. And if you buy from a dispensary, they will tell you exactly how much. So I think that's really good, and you know where it's coming from.
Yes, knowing the level of THC matters because marijuana there's really strong marijuana and there's not so strong marijuana. And with it being unregulated, you don't really know what's in it. So I think it's important to know the levels of THC, where this is coming from. That way we know how it impacts certain people, like younger people who are inexperienced, who haven't smoked. How are they gonna respond to something like this? I think it's important to know all these things before you legalize something. That way you can start to think about what problems they could cause on the roadways, etc.
Well, I think that since we're possibly on the verge of legalizing marijuana in New York State, it's important for everyone to actually learn about it instead of making assumptions about why it's bad, and they should learn what the benefits can be. So it's important to know the levels of THC, I think.
With marijuana becoming legal in the state soon, I think it's just wise that everybody knows, proper levels of THC, just as much information as possible, just so, the more you're informed about it, the better off everybody is, because you don't want to go into anything without having all the information or being aware of just what you're putting in your body in general.